To create these pants, I used a set of curtains that I bought once on sale. They contain cotton and they are light enough to be suitable for summer pants. It has a plain weave, the fibers are completely uniform with no elastan, which makes it stable in both directions. With this weave, the stretchability of the fibers, both in the warp and weft, is approximately the same. I will fold the curtain in half across the grain line and it will result in laying out my pants along the weft to increase the width needed to create pants without additional insert. That means I will be violating the grain line here, which is not recommended, so always try to respect the grain line whenever possible. These pants have a non-standard waistband configuration. This is a circle that needs to be calculated. We need to calculate the radius using the formula waist circumference divided by 2p or 6.28. This circle will determine the waistline. We lay out the fabric in 2 layers. Determine where the grain line will be. Choose a corner from which we will make our constructions. I prefer to start from the upper left corner. From the upper left corner, we mark off the calculated radius and draw a circle. This will be our future waistline. The center seam and inseam will be copied from existing pants that fit well on your figure. We lay the pants out with the necessary seams along the grain line, ensuring that the upper point of the center seam is aligned with the circle we have already drawn. I drew the waistline freehand based on my experience without measurements, but you should follow the draft and description that I provided. From the point of connection between the center seam and the waistline circle, we measure the waist circumference. I mark this with the letter W on the draft, which is calculated using the formula. We divide by 4 because we are constructing 1/4 of the pants and add 2 cm for seam allowances. To the obtained value, I add another 10 cm. This is needed so that the front part of the pants slightly overlap the back. Now about the length of the pants. If you are using pants that you like, you can base the length on them. Mark the desired length and add 3, 5 or 10 cm if you want the pants to be longer. I'm basing it on the length of my jeans, which I took as a reference. From the waist, we mark all the necessary lengths, in my case 107 cm, and using these measurements at the larger radius, we move along the waistline to obtain the desired larger circle, which is our hemline. The back part of the pants is cut in the same way. One detail to note is that the center seam of the back part of the pants runs at an angle, so we lay the inseam along the grain line. Also, pay attention to ensure that the junction of the center seam of the back part of the pants as well as the front forms 90-degree angle with the waistline. This is necessary so that when connecting the 2 front halves and 2 back halves together, the waistline forms a straight line. If you make this connection with an acute angle, you will get a bird beak at the seam, and if at an obtuse angle, there will be a dip at the center seam along the waistline.
Velvet amber dry, your voice on the line.
Before processing the side and center seams, I basted all the pieces together. This is to ensure that the front center seam hangs straight, that there is enough depth for sitting, and that the back seam also lays well without excess fabric. I process the side and center seams using a French seam. After that, I move on to the side seams. From the waist down along the side seam, we need to leave slits. I make them 15 cm deep. This is to allow our hips to pass through the waist, since we have no fasteners anywhere, so we make these slits. Additionally, I trim 4 cm from all side seams. So I initially added 10 cm and then trimmed 4 cm. It may seem illogical, but this is just my decision. You don't have to do this. I simply didn't want the front and back pieces to overlap too much, and I wanted a little bit of skin to show through the slits. I sew the side seam not entirely, but from the upper slit down along the side seam, sewing 30 cm. This way I form a high slit at the bottom. I process the raw edges with a closed seam.
I opened on the heartbeat.
Since we don't have a fastening as such, 2 waistband will perform that function. I make the front waistband with a standard width of 3.5 cm in finished form, which means the width of the piece should be 9 cm. The length of the waistband equals your waist circumference plus 3 cm for the fastening and 2 cm for seam allowances. This waistband must be interfaced with fusible interfacing. The grain line of the interfacing should be perpendicular to the waistband piece. You should also interface the upper edges of the front and back pants where the waistband will be attached. I find the midpoint of the waistband and mark it, then align it with the center seam of the front pants. I attach the waistband. I finish the ends of the waistband, and on the inside I attach the waistband with a hand-sewn blind stitch. For the back part of the pants, I fold the remaining 6 cm that I added to the waist circumference into a pleat directed toward the side seam. This way, the side seam will be hidden in the pleat. At least that was the idea. However, the pants already have so many pleats and draped due to the width of the fabric that it probably wasn't necessary to make this pleat, but since I made it, I decided not to change it. The waistband for the back pants will also serve a decorative function, so I make it wide, 10 cm in finished form, which means that the piece is 22 cm wide. I make it the entire length that the width of the curtain allows. This waistband should be long, and I do not interface this waistband and attach it just like the front waistband.
Right on time. Smoke on the dashboard, blue in your hair. The city leaned closer when you said stay there. Warm analog bass in the bend of the street. Rose like moonlight spilling under my feet. Velvet amber drive, keep rolling slow, where the tremolo shadows and headlights glow. Tape his halo, your breath in the dark. Every soft mistake lands straight on my heart. Velvet amber drive, don't fade away. Leave your low lit fire in the edge of my day. Rain made a mirror of the overpass lane. Dub delay flickered through the glass like
I will finish the hem of the garment with a wide facing. Since the configuration of the hemline is rounded, a wide hem cannot be made. It would create excess fabric at the upper edge. A narrow hem of 1 cm can be made, but it is likely to pucker and not lay nicely, thus detracting from the pant's quality appearance. Therefore, a wide facing is the only solution. I cut it directly from the pants. I do not interface it as my fabric allows. You should assess whether you need to interface your facing based on the properties of your fabric.
you wore that silence like a satin bruise, and every little warning felt easy to lose. Kick drum under us, patient and deep. Nobody in this car was trying to sleep. Velvet amber drive, keep rolling slow, where the tremolo shadows and headlights glow. Tape his halo, your breath in the dark. Every soft mistake lands straight on my heart. Velvet amber drive, don't fade away. Leave your low lit fire in the edge of my day. Let the meter glow, let the whole night sway. Let your name come back in the ribbon of delay. If morning calls, let it call in vain. We're still gold in the blue-black rain.
I finish the hem and along the slits. The upper edge of the facing is pressed inward by 1 cm and stitched with a 1 mm seam. And there you have it. The pants are ready. They are truly very simple to construct and sew, so take this idea into account. Right now it's 33 degrees here, and the forecast predicts up to 37 degrees over the weekend, so I won't be taking these pants off at all. They are just perfect for this weather.
The blue-black rain. Now the road hums low like a private hymn, and the skyline blurs at the edges of dry.